Good morning. Welcome to Molly Reardon's vegetarian cooking vlog. Come on in. So, why did I do this? Well, let's start at the beginning. When I was a little girl, my first love affair was food. And I had a grandmother that grew up on a farm in Canada in Prince Edward Island. And she cooked from scratch. And I loved her, of course, as most people love their nanas. She lived to be 96. We were so blessed. And she let me in her kitchen and had me cook with her. And that's where I got my love of cooking. Coffee and vlogging. So she won, well, not won an award, but one of my aunt's friends loved my Nana as much as we all do. And she got in her kitchen and got one of her recipes. And it is in her bakery, I'm told, on Martha's Vineyard. And the recipe is called Marion Squares. I've never been to Martha's Vineyard. That's on my list. So I had a love affair with food. I loved cooking. I would make everything from scratch, applesauce from real apples, whatever you could think of. I was trying it. I was standing on a kitchen chair at the stove. They didn't have the rules back then for children they have now. And I was cooking, and I loved it. I got one of those easy bake ovens, but I was at the real oven as well, in my glory. Well, I grew up in the 70s, and at that time, the fashion was to basically look like a skeleton. And mothers, my mom didn't want me to have a hard time in the world, so she said, well, you're a little too heavy. We need to put you on a diet. So she took me to the doctor, and he said, she's perfect for her size, but not for the fashion of the time. And everybody's mom wants them to fit in, right? Or at least that's the way it was back then. So she said, give her the diet pills. And of course I wanted to please my mom, so I lost my passion for cooking because I used to love to taste things while I was making them just to make sure that they were coming out just right. And luckily I didn't stay on the diet pills for long because someone told me what they could do to me, and I stopped them immediately. I was 14. But that was all the rage. The line was around the block for the doctor's office, for the diet pills. And I even remember his name, but I won't say it here. So I lost my love of cooking. And in the 70s, everything was instant. You could make everything in 5 seconds. We were proud of eating the same stuff that the man on the moon ate. Stuff that would live forever beyond us. You just heat it up and there it was. So fast forward, I'm about to be 60, and I'm watching for years now these vloggers, Eamon&Bec van lifers, and they make these delicious vegetarian dishes. Oh my Lord, I didn't even know vegetarian food could look that good. And in the back of our minds, we always say, oh, someday I'm going to try that. Someday I'm going to do that. And when I had this big birthday looming ahead of me, if you look at my Facebook, I have millions of pages of things I've tried, because when you get to be a certain age, you realize you may never have a chance to do certain things. So I started taking courses in things that I never would take courses in. I became an IT support specialist. I took data analytics. And finally, I came to cooking. And so I said, okay, you got to do this. You don't know how much time you have left on this earth, especially after Lisa Marie Presley died at 54 years old. May she rest in peace. I love Elvis's music. So I finally bought Eamon&Bec's cookbook and made a plan that I would go through the whole book and cook every recipe so I could cross vegetarian cooking off my list before I die. And I have to tell you, it was a little overwhelming at first. Those thoughts ran through my mind. That was back when I was 10 years old. Do I even really like to cook? Why am I doing this? Can I afford this? With all these, I'm working really hard and then going to the supermarket to get all these ingredients. And it was like a scavenger hunt. I had never bought fresh cilantro. I had eaten at Chipotle, but I had never bought Chipotle. I thought it was a spice. It turned out it was this liquid bottle in the Spanish food aisle. I bumped into coworkers in the supermarket. They were helping me search for things. I met lovely people that helped me find things on the list to make the vegetarian chili. And then I got up to the register and this guy was telling me about this salmon that he made that sounded out of this world. So I said, happy cooking to him. And then I proceeded to go outside and it was a deluge. It was pouring rain and the bags were paper. And my cousin came to the rescue. He picked me up and he's very strong. He could carry a lot of the bags and went in the house and put them on the table. And they sat there for the night. And I got up the next day and finally made the chili. Put the olive oil in the pan. I had bought the pan where I work. And put the chopped onion and the celery in there. Oh, does that smell good when you start to cook that up? And it was surprisingly easy. But the secret of a wonderful chili is you're not supposed to eat it right away. You let it sit overnight so it simmers in the juices. So if you want to try this recipe, it's in Eamon&Bec, their cookbook. They're vloggers on YouTube. So we finally made the first recipe. And my cousin said to me, I write a lot of books. I'm also a writer. I've been writing since I was a little girl. He said, if you wrote a book about cooking, you'd make $1 million and I'll help you do it. I said, I don't know. I'm thinking, I don't even know if I still love cooking. I don't even know if people will love my book online or my cooking journey. So I said, let me get through the journey. Let me do the whole cookbook and see how people respond to it. So he tasted my chili with the fresh cilantro on it. And he said, this is out of this world. And one of my coworkers who actually speaks Spanish asked me if I'd bring him some. And I thought, that's like playing the violin for a famous violinist, the person that really knows chili. So that test will be taken on Saturday when I bring him the Tupperware of chili to work. We'll see what happens with that. But I tasted it and I loved it. Nobody died. So this is my first recipe that I've made, and I'm sharing it with you because I thought, well, maybe my cousin's right. Maybe people would love this. So I'll start off, doing a video about each recipe that I make. And I hope that you enjoyed this. Please like, share, comment. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, I want to hear about it. What you'd like to see. I am going to go through the whole recipe book. Some days I'll just be making a simple vegetarian smoothie. Someday I'll be making desserts. Some days I'll be making breakfast. But as an aside, in 2021, my doctor told me, you have the bad cholesterol. And she wanted me eating healthier and exercising 5 times a week. So this journey is something I should be doing. This is a good idea. She didn't put me on the cholesterol medication. We're not that bad. And I was skinny at the time, which is funny. So it was something silent. I thought only fat people get the bad cholesterol. No, but skinny people can get it. I'm not so skinny anymore because I've been, my work at the holidays has really spoiled us to keep us in the building with bringing in food from great restaurants. And now, so here we are, we're on this journey. And if you're listening to this, I'm humbled, I'm honored that you've stepped in to listen to this. I don't know if any of you watched Julia Child When you were kids, I used to watch her. The Julia Child show, it was on Channel 2, PBS. That tells you, how old I am, which I've already told you. So you can share about your recipes if you've checked out Eamon&Bec on YouTube, if you've tried any of their recipes, if you have your own vegetarian chili recipes, or anything that you want to say in the comments. And if you want to donate to my cooking journey, I'll put a link in the description so you can do that to help me gather the ingredients. It's a little more expensive to eat good than to buy the junk, I'm finding. But you know what? Fine dining takes time. You go through the drive-thru and you feel great while you're eating it, but you feel a little bit lousy afterwards. But when you make something like this, you feel good the next day. I know I slept a little bit late because I'm not used to all of this prep, and I didn't have any of the spices, and there's lots of ingredients, but now I'm building up my ingredient cabinet, and my cousin said they're thinking of getting me a spice rack. How fun is that? So I appreciate you if you tuned in, and we'll have some more recipes to share with you as long as I wake up in the morning. Nothing's guaranteed, so I'm grateful for all of you and every day that I wake up. This is Molly Reardon, and this is my vegetarian vlog. Thank you.